Oh, wow. What drama we just saw between Netherlands and Argentina. There is nothing like the World Cup, nothing like the knockout rounds. It went all the way to penalties, and it's Argentina who will be advancing. Can you believe what you just saw, LME?
I have no idea where to start. I have no idea what to say. I don't know how much I'm going to make sense. That was exactly why we love this game, why we love this sport, why we love the World Cup, why it has entertainment and thrills and goals and sneaky free kicks and Lionel Messi and Dibu Martinez. It was ridiculous in every single way. Everything was a chapter that had drama at the end. Everything was a telenovela. Everything was a match within a match. Everything was a fight within a fight. Oh, and by the way, the ref also wanted to be the protagonist here with 14 cards as well. This was unbelievable. One of the best games, most thrilling matches in recent World Cup history. I don't know where to begin. I don't even know if I've made sense, Kay Murray. Unbelievable. Congratulations, Argentina. And vamos, Emiliano Dibu Martinez. Aston Villa with you all the way.
Well, listen, that's actually where we'll start, because I know Shaka can't stay with us for too long, and we'll keep picking out bits about Weghorst as well. We must talk about him. We'll talk about Messi, don't worry. But let's talk about Emi Martinez, Shaka Hislop.
Yeah, an incredible performance between the six in the penalty shootout. I mean, saving the first two, it really gives Argentina a buffer in the penalty shootout. And more to that point, it leaves the Dutch with no room for error. Okay, the final three penalties were converted, but I thought the start that he gave them allowed Argentina's kickers to step up with a certain amount of confidence and a little sense of relaxation. Of course, Lionel Messi taking the first for Argentina. Whenever we have penalty shootouts, whenever we have upsets, as we had earlier on today, there's always a discussion around who goes first and the order and where do you put your best penalty takers. This time, Argentina going with Lionel Messi as their first penalty taker. Remember, he also scored one during the 90 minutes. So to take a penalty in a penalty shootout, it really becomes a battle of wills, as it were. It becomes a psychological battle. But he again passed out with incredible flying colors, and it allowed Argentina to relax into the job that was still at hand to do.
Yeah, Lionel Messi, Gab, we must talk about him, obviously, as we're just hearing there from Shaka, taking 2 penalties on the night and a pass that was so sublime for that goal from Molina as well. The magic man just continuing to deliver.
Yeah, that was obviously early on in the game. They ended up scoring, I think, roughly the same time as they did against the Australia game. Yeah, big game, big Messi performance.
It really was. It really was. So what stood out for you the most then, Gab? Because there's probably a few little storylines here. I think what was, just to add to all the drama at the very end of it, to see Lautaro Martinez, after the World Cup he's been having, stand up and that responsibility be on his shoulders. It was a huge moment for him. And in this moment, it's almost like all that weight of what we've seen so far from him couldn't be off his shoulders, at least for now.
Yeah, obviously Lautaro's been criticized. He had the starts early on, and to come back and do a lot of the hard running later in the game. Obviously, that was really big, and then obviously the biggest responsibility of all, converting the penalty.
Yeah, just wonderful stuff to see. So, what stood out to you the most then, LME? Now that you've had time to catch your breath and think about everything that we've just seen.
I don't know. It's so difficult to decipher. Let's begin with that. Ridiculous pass from Lionel Messi, that reverse assist, one of the best I've seen. It was so good that I think Nathan Ake was still looking for it 5 seconds after the goal happened. It was unbelievable. And I think in the first half, it was really instrumental just to show how, yes, we've been talking about Messi dependencia, and Netherlands were doing pretty well to that point. Argentina were not being as aggressive from a diagonal passing perspective. So Messi had to be like, look, let me just take care of that. So that to me is a speaking moment. And it looked pretty good throughout the game. Obviously, the penalty and the Netherlands got to go back. But, that free kick, Kay Murray, is worth talking about. The one that equalized for the Netherlands and sent it to extra time. It was so Dutch. It was subtle, genius, sneaky, and it took a Burnley striker to send the Netherlands extra time, which added just that extra sense of excitement. And then obviously, I was happy to see that Argentina, because psychologically, they really could have fallen in extra time and they didn't. And then the man of the hour, Emiliano Martinez, just amazing. Just amazing. I mean, I can talk about him all day. I won't.
Yeah, about Weghorst as well. Honestly, we've seen some amazing footage. If you're following the Bundesliga, you'll know all about this player. This is a player who is no stranger to scoring goals. He's really, really stepped up in this World Cup as well. Even when he was at Wolfsburg, we're looking at every other game, he's scoring a goal, this player. And that was nothing new as well, that free kick that Luis was just talking about. This footage that's come up, I think it was against Bielefeld about 2 years ago, that he's done something very similar to that. So I don't know who was scouting that, if they expected that anything like that might happen in those moments. But Gab's had to shoot off. Something's come up. Obviously, he's in Qatar right now, so there's a lot going on, especially at a time like this. And I know that we'll also have Shaka going off soon as well. But Shaka, what's your overriding thought of this? Do you think Argentina are a deserved winner in the end in this? Or when it comes to a penalty shootout, can you just say it could have gone either way and you can't really decide who was the deserving team in this?
Yeah, in a penalty shootout, it really so you judge who's deserving winners over the 90 minutes or 120 minutes. But I thought Argentina was certainly the better of the two teams over 90 minutes. So I have to say I thought they were a little bit lucky in some regards. How Paredes stayed on the park is simply beyond me. I thought the referee was very kind. Very, very kind to allow Paredes to continue as he did. He could have been sent off on a couple of occasions. But the big concern, despite Argentina, as I say, I feeling better, being better over the course of the 90 minutes, is that they again throw away, or let me not say again, but they throw away a 2-goal lead where it was very comfortable or felt very comfortable. And it was just a matter of time. And give the Dutch credit for that well-worked free kick at the very end. That was a gutsy move. But to that point, I think about Argentina in their last game against Australia. 2 goals up, concede one, and very easily could have conceded a second, but for Emilio Martinez, again, coming up trumps in what, the 94th, 95th, something like that. And that's a concern. If we are talking about, especially Brazil's exit, the favorites left in this competition, defensively, that's not been World Cup winning finishes to these games, certainly from a defensive perspective. So that is something that Lionel Scaloni, once the dust settles, will have to address with his troops. But give Argentina their credit. Oftentimes, when somebody comes back from 2 down, momentum in the Dutch camp, you often see the penalty shootout go in favor of that team. But Argentina certainly bucked that trend. I'm going to have to do like Gab now and disappear. I've got to be somewhere else.
Shaka Hislop, it's always good to have you, and I know that you probably have more important things to do than being with your lovely friends Kay and yours.
I'm not even going to comment to that, Elemi. I'm not even going to pause comment.
Shaka, we love you. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. Have a great rest of your tournament. Take it easy. All right, Kay, it's just me and you now.
It is just me and you. Do you know what? I'm glad, because I want to talk to you about something that you've been talking about all tournament.
Yeah.
Last one standing now. South American, Argentina. We were wondering if this was the year that we are going to see a South American side lift the World Cup. And Brazil were the favourites, and today they've gone out. And at one point as well, it looked as though it might be Argentina too, because you always feel that momentum plays a huge part in these kind of games. And I was thinking inside, is this suddenly going Netherlands' way? Is it gone in their favour? And I couldn't decide it, like various points throughout this whole game. Is it going their way now? Is it their way? I love the feist from the two sides in extra time. I love seeing that from both of them. It felt like, just growing up, it gave me so much nostalgia of those big battles on the pitch. But in the end, Argentina have seen it through. Is it their destiny? Is this the year that Lionel Messi finally does get to lift?
I have no idea.
I know, because we've had so many surprises, haven't we?
Yeah. That's the thing, because there's been so many twists and turns to this World Cup. I don't know what to tell you. You would think that the football gods are looking down on us and saying, all right, I know we scared you a little bit, but it really is Lionel Messi's time to win this World Cup. To your point about South Americans, I said something, I tweeted something during the match when it went to extra time. And that's why I was saying that I was very happy from a neutral standpoint, and I guess a South American one, to see that, psychologically speaking, Argentina kind of came back into themselves in extra time, because I thought once that free kick went in from the Dutch, I thought that's it. They're going to fall like a flan in a cupboard. They're just completely going to mess up here, and they're going to just let the moment get the best of them. But to their credit, they didn't. They kept fighting. They kept pushing. Obviously, some sneaky moments. They hit the post in extra time as well. Some good chances from Lionel Messi, and they took it to penalties. And even in penalties, Kay, I thought psychologically they would mess up, but they didn't. So I think that right now they're looking very good on beating a very strong Croatia, though, okay? I mean, we thought Brazil were going to win it, and look what Croatia did. So I don't know, but I'll tell you something. It's definitely taking a lot out of me to think that, Messi and Argentina can make it to the final. This is going to be quite an interesting semifinal ride. It's kind of amazing.
It's interesting looking at some of the odds makers as well. With some, they have Argentina as favourites now. I think that's why Xhaka bounced, because you may remember that he went for Argentina all along, stood firm on it.
Okay.
And then after they lost to Saudi Arabia, he changed his mind famously on ESPN FC, took a lot of flack for it. And I think that's why he's just disappeared, because he doesn't want to have to deal with this line of questioning.
Yeah, so he's not.
now.
What? So who does he have now then?
Oh, well, that's the fun. Like, now I don't know, because he stayed firm on Brazil. He wouldn't turn back even when we were seeing the World Cup.
And you can't go back on Argentina, right, Kay? You can't allow him to do that anymore.
Well, we didn't. And then we wiped the slate clean. But even when we gave everybody the chance to do the slate again from the knockout rounds, I don't think anybody picked Argentina to go all the way and win it. And obviously, it's still early days right now after what we've seen from Croatia. You can't underestimate them. And we've got the other quarterfinals coming up too. But it is just interesting to see how they've weathered the storms that they've been put through so far. Because don't forget, like, losing your opening game to Saudi Arabia in the way that they did, you wondered, are they going to let their heads drop now? Is this going to be in their minds too much? And even we talked about it on the ESPN FC show, Luis. It's something that's really important. It's that the unity with not just the team, but with the fans as well. Yeah. And on that Messi missed penalty, even in this tournament, you're hearing the fans, Messi, straight away after him, to boost him up, to show that everybody's behind the whole team. And it just feels like they're all together as one in this. And I know that's usually the case when it's a World Cup, that you're behind your nation. It's not like in domestic football where you might be getting a bit frustrated with your side as the tournament goes on. But they just have that sense of inevitability in those, even before coming into it, before it, so many people were like, oh, is this written? Yeah. But this is just because this is recency bias as well, Luis. It's because of what we've seen.
We just finished watching it, and we're part of it.
Because we've got all what's coming up. Yeah. Who knows what we're going to be talking about tomorrow?
You bring some really good points. One, I think the Argentina faithful has been a determinant factor. It did, a couple of those matches felt like La Bombonera or Monumental. You definitely felt that Argentinian support, and I think you make a really good point about the unity within this team. Ultimately, all coming together to support Lionel Messi, who, in my opinion, I think by the end of it all, will come down as the greatest player the game has ever seen. Because, never mind that reverse assist. And here's Ryan O'Hanlon's. Now that Messi's having the best World Cup of his career at age 35, I've moved from him number one to number one in my rankings of the best soccer players of all time. So I'm with you, Ryan. Listen, here's the thing. At 35 years old, he is the depiction of what John Keats says, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. This man is creating art on the pitch. And in Spanish, a lot of people say, Ronaldo's out of this world, but, Ronaldo's the best player in the world, but Messi's from another planet. And I always think that when I think of watching him play. It's amazing. And I think I go back to your point, Kay. I think destiny's here, and it's pointing all directions to this man from Rosario, Argentina, this Pulga, to win his World Cup. And when it happens, there can be no argument anymore, surely. This is the greatest player we've ever seen.
But for me as well, comparison is the thief of joy. I feel that we're always so desperate to say, who's the best? Are they the best because of this? And for me, I just want to enjoy all of them. I don't want it to be definitive. We always make fun of Shaka for that. He decides that, he has like this criteria of what will then make somebody the GOAT, and they have to have done this or they have to have done that. And I think it's one of those things that you're never going to change people's minds who think one way or the other on these things. And even outside of those two aliens, Ronaldo and Messi, there's other people that will argue of players from their day, of players from before that. I'm just getting a bit of the reaction after the game from some of the players. Lionel Messi's spoken out and said, a lot of joy and relief. Going to penalty kicks, we suffered so much for how it all happened. But then again, it's the quarterfinals of the World Cup. Going through is the most beautiful and impressive thing. And I think that just adds to, it's not just the momentum, is it? It's the fact that that you got through a really difficult moment as a team, and it only adds to that unity that we're talking about and makes them really dangerous going forward. But as we know who it is next, it's Croatia. And one thing we're absolutely sure of is Croatia will not fear Argentina.
Yeah. And they don't care about momentum. They don't care about emotions. They don't care about Lionel Messi. They don't care about anything. They know exactly who they are. And here's the difference between the European sides in recent modern World Cup history and South American ones. South American ones, we live for the moment and we hope for that moment to sustain us, right? The Messi reverse assist, Neymar's beautiful goal. We cling onto that, right? European teams, they take it step by step and know that nothing is done until the last second. It's a very disciplined military approach, and nobody shows that better than Croatia. And Croatia is going to be a team that's going to have all their cards out and say, what do you have? And again, I think that Herc Gomez had a really good point in our previous episode, Kay, where he said, look, Messi needs to be on it. He doesn't need to completely score a hat-trick, but he needs to be on it. And so I think they're going to need to depend on that again, because a few yellow cards happened today where some of these players are not even going to be happy. What's that?
I know that they did, and they will affect it. I think 15 though in total as well.
That's insane. That's the ref saying, I want the game to be about me.
Well, what do you expect from this referee? Well, I say in jest, but we do know that he has a bit of history, and especially if you're a La Liga fan, you'll know all about this referee.
Yeah. All right, so okay, how does this semi-final play out in your mind right now? I know that we can talk about it.
No,
what do you think?
I mean, I almost don't want to say this because I feel that we won't be seeing the same story because it's a World Cup and it doesn't usually go that way. But
I don't want to jinx it.
But my initial reaction, my initial thoughts about it would be that it will have to be somewhat cagey. And it might go further and outside of the 90 minutes again.
Yeah, what's that stat? I read a stat, Kay. I read a stat on Twitter about Croatia. Just to add to your point, Croatia, I feel like have led the entire World Cup only once or something. I gotta remember it. You keep talking and I'll bring it up.
And listen, given the fact, right, okay, Argentina know that they've just done that as well. They know that they've just been able to come through extra time and penalties and it go their way. But Croatia have been relishing that. 2018, 3 times past the 90 minutes. In this tournament, they've done it twice already. You always think, and you talk about, they're going to be tired. They're a team with older players in it. And it just doesn't seem to faze them. They just seem to just get on with it. So there is a feeling to me that it would do that. But then another part of me says there's absolutely no way that's going to happen again. And Argentina will be going all out to make sure that they don't get taken to extra time here. And they'll try and get it done within the 90 minutes. So,
exactly.
Okay, I'm going to go out and say that it will be done in the 90 minutes.
I know. I can't find the tweet, but I think it echoes what you just said. I don't think there's not going to be many goals here. Croatia doesn't really care about that. It cares about being resilient and making sure that it counters to whatever's coming their way. I agree with you. I think it's going to be a tough old battle. And, well, I mean, Luka Modric in the middle, Lionel Messi, my goodness, what a feast we're going to have, huh?
I know. We really will. Ballon d'Or winners galore in this game, and absolute legends as well. Two players that you'll be telling your grandkids about, of course. There's just some stats coming in here. There have been 3 instances in World Cup history of a squad winning multiple shootouts in a single World Cup. Croatia in 2022, Croatia in 2018, and Argentina in 1990. And each of the first two finished the World Cup as runners-up.
Whoa.
So that's those, obviously, that we know that that's happened to those guys. But yeah, there's something that just tells me that even though that's what we've seen, and obviously it's, you know, how close you are to a final when it comes to this stage, that you do expect no one to want to make a single mistake, that it would be more cagey. There's just something in me, just seeing that passion as well in Argentina today, that tells me that they are going to be up for this and trying to get it done before it goes to that.
I know, but this Croatian side, Kay Murray, this Croatian side, by the way, Lionel Messi quotes to the TV, he was talking about the referee, right? Because we've been talking about the referee and, you know, how many yellow cards.
He knows this referee well.
Exactly, back from La Liga days. I don't want to talk about the referee, because if you talk, they sanction you. FIFA should think about it. You can't put a referee like that for these games. You can't put a referee who isn't up to the job. Well, you just talked about it, Lionel Messi.
I love that. I'm not going to say anything, but he shouldn't have done it because he's not up to the job.
I'm not going to say anything, but he was awful. What are you doing?
Yeah, no, I mean, to be honest, though, I don't think anything's going to happen. Everyone's desperate to see Messi in this semi-final.
No,
so that's, we know that's one side. It's done. And there is still the possibility of Portugal and Argentina, just putting that one out there, because I know a few people have got that as their final.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.